Vols look to improve their winning streak to 8 this Saturday inside of Neyland Stadium. Missouri Tigers come to town, but according to Jeremy Pruitt, this team is 1-9 until they earn that next win. So we're going to get into that. We're going to make some predictions. All that coming up next on Talkin Vols Live.
The songs howl like beat, poets at an arcade, soaking moonlit falls, unbroken past that sit updated or that we call home, and it's night and I'm alone and I'm alive.
Welcome to Talkin Vols, episode number 97. Fellas, I bet you didn't even know this. Do you know what episode 100 is going to be? The Georgia post-game show. Right? Because 98 will be Missouri post-game.
Unless we do a pregame show.
No, I don't count those. I don't count those as numbered episodes. I just call that tailgating with Talkin Vols.
Okay.
So we're going to spend episode number 100 dancing in the streets. But anyway, welcome to the Talkin Vols Network. My name is Boogie Bentley.
I'm Vols JP.
And I'm UT Dauber. What's happening?
We are glad you're here. We're going to talk a little bit, kind of go back to that South Carolina game. We're going to talk about it, and then we're going to get into the Missouri game, make some predictions, all that good stuff. But we are glad you're here. We've got IC86 hanging out in the chat. Jordan Young is here, member of the channel, joined for just 99 cents a month. 99 cents a month. You can use those custom Talkin Vols emojis. Jordan, go ahead and show them in the chat. Show those things off. You earned them. You paid for them. Let them fly. Vol Lax. Is that a Vols lacrosse fan? Where's Hopkins at? He might have a new friend down there.
That's not Hopkins, is it?
I don't know. Did he change it? I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. Ninja Fingers is here. He's about to watch the NBA, but he's here. Cody Branch. I think I already said the innocent culprit. Courtney Holland is here. It is football time in Tennessee. Wayne is here. Wayne, hope you're doing good, buddy. Everybody's hanging out. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. If not, we will be live every Wednesday, 7 o'clock Eastern, and Saturdays immediately following the game. We're not going to do a tailgate show, just to update on that this week. Noon kickoff. We'll be live right after the game. But we're glad you're here. So let's get into it. I want to go back to that South Carolina game a little bit. You know, something a lot of people talked about, and we talked about it all last year and even the year before that. And it's, are the Vols finally learning how to win? You know, they've won 7 in a row, looking to make it 8. It's going to be, if they make it 8, it'll be only the second time since 1998. But it's this thing that everybody says they're learning how to win. Do you guys buy into that? Do you really learn how to win? Or is Tennessee just getting better? JP, do you buy into the mindset of learning to win?
Absolutely, I do. Because I think that what happens is you can, when something doesn't go your way, you can overcome that. Once you start winning and you start feeling that excitement of winning, you know, most people want to win more. So if you're used to losing, then it just becomes second nature and it doesn't bother you as bad. And I think Pruitt is starting to instill that in these fellas that, you know, yeah, I mean, I'm putting a lot of effort out here each and every single day, practicing and getting ready for this game, studying game film and everything. And it does mean a lot to them. And when they start winning, I think it means more to them. So absolutely, I think it does for sure.
It is a culture and a mentality. And that is something that Pruitt has come in and changed completely. It's one of those things, the battered Vol syndrome. You know, we talked about it for forever. The last decade, can we find a more Tennessee way to lose a game or let one slip away? Right now, I think what's going on is we're becoming able to overcome certain mistakes and miscues that before would just be another nail in the coffin. the team is able to grind it out and hold on. And I think the big thing is you're seeing coaches that are making adjustments at halftime, that are making adjustments during the game, and the players are responding to that.
Got some guys flooding in the chat here. We're starting to fill up. We are glad you guys are here. Hopkins lacrosse fan is here, dropping a $5 super chat. Hop, I don't know if you saw, we've got a Vols lacrosse fan. You guys need to get together, talk lacrosse. If anybody knows lacrosse, it's Hopkins lacrosse fan. That's all that guy. His Instagram. Today I was thinking about it. He posted on Instagram all these old pictures, and I think I might just break down and buy a Hopkins lacrosse T-shirt just because he has supported the channel so much. I feel like I need to support the Hop. But he says for $5, thanks for the super chat. Good evening, gentlemen. 1-0. If they go undefeated like I predicted, we need an extended rendition of Rocky Top by Brother JP. I will go on record and say, if this team goes undefeated, JP will go full screen and sing the entire song. I'm talking maybe 2 or 3 times, and he may do it without his shirt on. Probably. I was guessing.
I'll go this far. If we go undefeated, I'll climb a ladder, and I'm terrified of heights, and I'll climb up to the very top of it and lead Dauber and Boogie in the rendition of Rocky Top.
How did we get drug into this? You got the easy part. What'd me and Dauber do? We didn't promise anything.
I got to climb a ladder, and you guys don't realize I'm terrified of heights. I mean, terrified of heights.
I'll tell you what, 10-0. I'm down for that.
I think if they go 10-0, we could probably.
What I might do.
We might just get Talkin VAWLS tattoos if they go 10-0. I'd do anything.
That might be the first tattoo I ever get. And I've never considered getting one.
And the last one, the first and the last.
The first and the last, yeah.
Oh goodness. They say no. Keep the Talkin VAWLS shirt on, JP. JP's jacked. You guys just can't see it because it's only his head.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but it is going back to what we were talking about, a winning culture, learning how to win. It's interesting looking back through this 7-game winning streak. And like I think Dauber said, we've got battered ball syndrome. We're struggling through those games. We struggled through last Saturday. None of us. I mean, we're all like, oh, here we go again. When they got a punt at the end of the game, it's like, here we go.
Their first drive down the field where they ran it right down our throat. I'm like, oh, no, not the way we wanted to start.
Yeah, but throughout that winning streak, they have learned to win, right? They are winning the close games. Yeah. That's key. They're winning the games they're supposed to win. And I know we're gonna get into the Missouri game a little bit later, but this is a game they are supposed to win. And I fully expect them to go into Knoxville and take care of business on Saturday because they are learning to win. Let's go ahead and change gears here. Blitz 621 says Cade Mays. We can talk about that. There's really not a whole lot on it. The athletic directors were going to vote on immediate eligibility. What was the deal with that? Because what I heard originally was they were going to vote on Monday, and then it's like it just got pushed off, and then is it supposed to be today?
Here it is Wednesday, and nobody's heard anything.
I've seen Thursday was one of the last things that I read, that they were possibly waiting on a couple of votes to come in or something.
I mean, how hard is it to get on a Zoom conference call with 14 people and vote? I mean, that doesn't seem. I mean, there's 3 of us and 40 some people here easily. Yeah. I mean, I'm not buying that.
Hey, do you want to vote right now?
Yeah, let's vote.
What are we going to vote
on? All in favor of Cade Mays being immediate eligible. Everybody in the chat, raise their hand. We can see you.
Everybody in the chat, if you want Cade Mays to be eligible, just go ahead and drop a super chat, and that'll count as your vote. No, in all seriousness, I mean, I think the thing is, it's only crucial and important for the teams involved, right? The other athletic directors, the coaches, they don't care. They don't care. I mean, it doesn't matter, and it's going to be interesting.
What's Sean Calvert saying? He's saying the SEC just released a statement.
Uh-oh.
Is that breaking news?
Is that breaking on Talkin VAWLS? Sean brought breaking
Sean
news.
Calvert? Do we need a 4th chair so he can bring the break? We need a sideline reporter?
Huh,
I don't
that's
know if
interesting.
anybody has a link to an article or something posted in the chat. Actually, you probably can't do that unless you're a moderator. But yeah, let us know if that's confirmed. I would like to know. You know, Hub's talking about it this week, and he was saying it's going to be interesting to see how those votes pan out because they're not going to be made public, but they're going to be made public, right?
Yeah, it'll
So
come out. Yeah.
what happens when Georgia votes no because of a competitive disadvantage if Cade Mays is eligible? It'll be interesting to see how all of it plays out. But yeah, Troy Lee, it's BS. That's all there is to it. They just need to pass it and move on. But we've kind of beat that into the ground. We're just sitting around waiting to hear something from the SEC.
What's the most frustrating part about it is the SEC just. I mean, honestly, why is it taking so long? Just make a decision and say it. I mean, why are we sitting here Wednesday? You know, basically 3 days before week 2, and they still haven't made a decision on it. I mean, make a decision. I mean, like I said, how hard is it to do a conference call and people vote on it? I mean, it's just. I mean, it's not like I imagine that they have a lot going. I don't know. I don't know what those people have going on throughout the day, but just not a whole lot of confidence in the SEC doing the right thing. So we'll see, but who knows?
The whole world is working on Zoom right now. Like you said, it's not that hard. It's not that difficult.
So did anybody go back and rewatch the South Carolina game?
Some of the highlights. I didn't.
Yeah, I watched the Pruitt show, which I don't really like. I liked it when they showed the whole game film versus now it's just kind of highlights.
Yeah. OBH says Austin Price just tweeted Cade's eligible.
Boom! Breaking news. You heard it here first, right here on the Talkin VAWLS Network. Not really, but kinda.
SEC, I love you, SEC.
Diehard SEC fans here, yeah. That's huge, man. Gosh, that's huge for this football team, you know?
Yeah, but to play devil's advocate, I mean that means that Kentucky's quarterback, that Gatewood kid, is eligible now, that come from Auburn. So, you know, does he instantly step in and become, you know, better than Terry? Is he better than Terry Wilson? Does that automatically make them better too? So, I mean, you know, that's just playing devil's advocate. We got them in 2
Kentucky.
weeks, I guess.
It's Kentucky. Just beat Kentucky.
I mean, I agree with that, but but just playing devil's advocate there. But anyway, excuse me, I ate too quick. I had to hurry to eat.
We're off on a great start. This has been a lot of fun. Just laid back show. I love it. This is what it should be every week.
Yeah. But now, why I ask about the South Carolina game? I did go back and watch some of it. Have been thinking about it, looking at stats, reading some articles, so forth, so on. Maybe JP was a little over the top about Garantano Saturday. Maybe.
We all were, and that's in my notes for the night too. It's in my notes for the night.
I'm sorry.
We all were though. No, we all were. Go ahead.
Well,
we all were pretty rough on him.
Well, I mean, you know, it's the initial reaction. You know, I mean, that's why, you know, that we come on here right after the games, because people are fired up and you know, I mean, it's different. But, you know, after you've had a chance to, you know, sleep on it and, you know, kind of think back on some of the plays and go back and watch some of them, I think he did play better than what, you know, I probably gave him credit for. Was it perfect? No. And I'll still stand by that. He's going to have to play better than what he did Saturday in order for this football team to beat the opponents that we need to try to start beating, and that's the Georgias and the Floridas and the Bamas and the Auburns and the Texas A&Ms. You know, I mean, that's what I would consider this year. But he did play better. He at least was throwing to the right receivers most of the time. He got rid of the ball better. He didn't hold on to it as long. So all of that stuff. So have to give him some credit for that. Hopefully he'll get the mechanic part figured out and won't be overthrowing them by 15 foot like he was a lot of times Saturday night. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there, and hopefully that JG will throw for 400 yards and five touchdowns Saturday.
And that's, it's, I mean, like you said, pretty much everything that I had in my notes to talk about, and again, we're fired up, but that's the best time to go live is immediately after. Get that honest reaction. And it's so frustrating and maddening because it's accuracy issues. And I know, in the post game, he talked about mechanics and everybody's talking about mechanics. As a casual football fan, well, I would consider us pretty hardcore football fans. I can't sit and watch a quarterback throw for the most part and be like, oh, it's mechanics. I can tell when a guy's throwing off his back foot, whatever, but it was something with his release causing him to throw the ball out high. You can fix that. Sure, you can fix that. But this is something that it's not just South Carolina. And again,
I know.
I don't want to double down here and be too hard on the kid, but this has been ongoing. So when I hear a post-game press conference and I hear everybody talk about it and say, oh, he can get it fixed, it's mechanics. We're in year 5 and he's not got it fixed. He still has accuracy issues. But again, going back to what you said, he did make the right reads. He didn't turn the football over. He took care of the ball. So what do you think, Darby? Are you expecting going into the Missouri game he's going to magically have better accuracy?
Well, so OBH is my buddy from work, and he and I were discussing JG Monday morning. Monday morning QB, and it's funny. I told him you can watch. He will make the throws that you're like, oh my gosh, he'll thread the needle. He'll put it on a dime. And then a wide open receiver, he misses. And it's the touch issue is the biggest problem that I see. I can't remember. I think it was Dominique Woods Anderson who was in the end zone last year, and he threw like 104-mile-an-hour fastball that he didn't even get his hands up for before it was already bouncing off the wall in the end zone. And we talked about it Saturday, the swing passes and the little flare screens. Every time we line up and run one of those, I kind of hold my breath a little bit because, a little 8-yard kind of out is something that, he should be able to do in his sleep, but it's iffy. And I don't know. I mean, you look at where he was when he first started playing behind an offensive line that was like Swiss cheese, having to scramble and improvise. You got to take into consideration the multiple offensive coordinators and systems that he's been in and had to learn and adapt. At the end of the day, though, it's still football. The game's not changed. You go out there and you make a play. I mean, it's one of those things. You see him make throws that are super impressive, and then you see him miss a throw that you're like, man, really? And that's what's kind of puzzling. And it's been that way. But man, I just don't know. I'd love to see him come out and go 20 for 28 with 300-400 yards. That'd be amazing. But I just don't know. South Carolina was pretty tight on the back end and coverage. But he had a lot of time. The offensive line, I think, played well. So we'll see. I think some of that was first game jitters, and also the fact that we said it was going to be a sloppy game because of lack of preparation as you would normally enter a season.
Yeah, I mean, but the frustrating part is, again, it's a 5th-year senior.
Yeah,
I don't care if it's the first game. I don't care that they had limited practices. You expect better, and it just go back. It's a circular conversation that just goes round and round and round.
Absolutely.
it is what it is. He's our quarterback. And Chris Mann said earlier in the chat, play a backup. It just ain't going to happen. A backup's not going to come in until Jarrett Garantano costs the Vols a game. That's the only time he's going to come in. We've got 48 hanging out in the live chat, guys. Do us a favor. Make sure you do hit that thumbs up. It helps the analytics. It drives Talkin Vols out to other Tennessee fans based on algorithms and all that good stuff. So hit the thumbs up, subscribe. Don't miss when we go live. You can even hit the bell for notifications, so you always know when Talkin Vols is live, so you don't miss a tailgate show or anything like that. But we are glad that you are joining us tonight.
I'll throw this out there, and I think I talked about it either last Wednesday or Saturday. And kind of got on JP a little bit. He was talking about Maurer. Maurer, the backup quarterback's the sexiest position on the team when the starter's struggling. But if you look back at Maurer, 5 picks to 2 touchdowns last year.
Yeah, I mean that's why Maurer and Trout couldn't get on the field, and everybody was irate. But you got to trust Jeremy Pruitt. I think he has a handle on this football team a little bit more than we do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to roll with whoever he's got out there. Until they cost you a game.
And I think obviously that he just feels more comfortable with Garantano. Obviously, just understanding the offense and all that, but also he has, most times protected the football and stuff. And I just feel like that he's not going to put anybody else out there that he doesn't feel as comfortable with. So, I mean, it's Garantano's team. So, I mean, he's going to roll with him. So I think anybody, and myself included, we can just kind of just quell that it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. He's the quarterback. So, he'll take this team as far as they can go. So,
and to wrap up the conversation on Garantano, he did that Saturday. As frustrated as we were, he took care of the football, didn't turn it over, really didn't force a whole lot. It's just accuracy issues. That's all it boils down to.
There is something wrong with the chat, right, Boogie?
Yeah, guys, the chat is all messed up. I don't know what it's. Did somebody let me
Looks
go?
Like James.
Yeah, it looks like James said he did a super chat. Let me pull up the actual YouTube filter and see if I can find the super chats there. They're not. I don't know if they're not feeding into YouTube or they're not feeding into StreamYard, but we'll figure it out. We'll get it fixed. What other? Okay, we talked about Jarrett Garantano. We talked a little bit about DeAndre Johnson on the postgame show. What a heck of a game he had. What other position group stands out to you as playing well Saturday, JP?
I think Alontae Taylor played well. I know, we could say the secondary kind of got torched, but I mean, most of that was over the middle. Don't really think that there was a whole lot that Taylor gave up himself. And I have to say, I love the fact of how physical that Tennessee's defensive backs play now. I know for years, that we talked about how their defensive backs just weren't physical. They wouldn't come up and they wouldn't take on blockers. They wouldn't come up and make the open field tackle. And that is one area that I've seen this team improve greatly on is their ability to tackle an open field and also play tougher out there on the outside. So I was impressed with him. And again, I mean, I think that even though that they're really nobody that really stands out, I think that you have to be happy with Tennessee only giving up 85 yards rushing. I think it was 32 carries or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like 2.5 yard average is what South Carolina had. I mean, you hold a team to 2.5 yards a carry average, you're going to win a lot of football games. I mean, you are going to win a lot of football games. So I think that's certainly something to build on there. So that's who I think stood out.
Let me hit this super chat real quick, and then we'll jump right back into that same conversation. Guys, the live chat is messed up, so I apologize for that. A lot of them aren't coming through, but the super chats are coming through. I just can't put them on screen. So if you have a key point you want us to address or a comment you definitely want us to read, it looks like you're going to have to super chat. I don't know what's going on with YouTube, but James Gentry dropped a $5 super chat. We appreciate that support. James, longtime listener. He says Mizzou is 1-6. We are 7-0. Win the game. Orange emoji. Thanks for the support. And I agree. I think Tennessee goes in and takes care of business because what are they? 2 touchdown favorites. But circling back around to the conversation, talking about position groups that did well, I want to piggyback on you talking about the defensive backs. I think it really hurt the defensive backs having to move Bryce Thompson from corner to safety. We talked about that a little in the postgame show. We talked about McCullough coming in late in the game. And according to what I read on VolQuest, what Hub said, McCullough didn't get to practice a lot. They didn't have a lot of confidence in that. But it got to the point,
they had to put
throw
him
into the fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got to put him in. Throw him to the fire. We got to go. And, everything looking good this week for McCullough to actually start. They're going to be able to move Bryce back to corner. Now we got what we wanted. We got Bryce Thompson and Alontae Taylor, who I think played maybe one of the best games of anybody, especially in the secondary Saturday. I thought he played a good football game. But I think, Schamberger is going to be out again, so that does hurt. But having McCullough back, I think, is going to make a big difference in the backfield.
I think Burrell is also going to be back, so that should help as well.
So, question I've got with Schamberger being out, I mean, it sounds like definitely there's not a lot of confidence that he's playing again Saturday, whatever the deal with him is. I don't think he's hurt. But Pruitt said in his press conference that it wasn't disciplinary either. So who knows? But anyway, fact is it doesn't sound like that he's going to be playing. So the question I've got, if we've got McCullough back and then you've got him and Flowers at safety and that frees Thompson back up, do you consider putting Thompson at the star and maybe putting Kenneth George at corner? Because, I mean, a lot of times last year, Kenneth George was he took Taylor's spot last year and was starting over him. So I just wonder if maybe that they might look at that this week and see instead of rolling Slaughter back out there like James said.
Yeah, I mean, that's a possibility.
Which I don't know how much that Thompson's played the star. I think he played some last year. I thought maybe when Schamberger was out some with that. So just a thought that might get your best and most experienced players out there this week.
Right.
Which I think that's what they need to do. Put your athletes, and I think that's what it boiled down to with McCullough. Right? It's like, this ain't working. He may not be ready, but let's get our best players and our best athletes out on the field. James Barger, real quick in the chat, asked about a hoodie that he picked up on Bonfire. What they do, James, is they do kind of like a print campaign. So once somebody orders a shirt, it's going to go into a campaign mode, which is like 2 or 3 weeks. So if you look on there, it'll have how many days are left, and then it will ship as soon as that is over. But if anybody wants hoodies, the new State Pride logo that you can see on the hat here, or like Dauber's got on there, tons of merchandise. All the links for that is in the description. So check all of that out. Craig says, nobody mentioning Cade Mays? Yeah, we mentioned that as soon as it happened, thanks to this great live chat. Yeah, Cade Mays is eligible, and that is going to be huge. Let's keep this conversation rolling. Dauber, what about you? Any position group that stands out to you that you're pleased with last Saturday?
Yeah, I'll get to that in just a second. Answer to that question. There are 9 days left in this campaign
for the hoodies.
Yeah, they're all on the same one. Correct?
Oh, I don't know. No, I don't know if he ordered. It depends on what style of shirt you order. So if he ordered the Talkin VAWLS live or the Talkin VAWLS logo shirt, it just depends. But James, just check Bonfire and it'll show that campaign, whichever one you backed.
Okay, back on track here. Like I said earlier, I think the offensive line played well, which led to I'm going to go with Chandler. I think Chandler had a great game. He ran hard. I was a little disappointed with Gray. I thought he did a lot of dancing around and he just seemed to be kind of couldn't shift gears to get going. I recall I think it was a 3rd and 2, and Gray was in and got stopped for a no gain or maybe a 1 yard gain. And I thought, man, if Chandler was in, I think that was a no doubter because I think he was popping off 5-6 yards a carry. He ran really, really hard. But I'm going to go with the running backs. I was pretty impressed with, and specifically Chandler.
I think they got to find a way to get Eric Gray the ball in space. And,
Mhm.
you saw that on the breakdown on the flea flicker.
Yeah.
I mean, he just dumped it off. Eric Gray, man, he almost put it in the end zone. He almost made that guy miss at the goal line. But I think that's the best way. And Big Jim Chaney, if they're not both on the field, I had a heart attack. Well, he must have had a heart attack up in the press box because I didn't see them both on the field very much at all, if at all. I don't recall even seeing it at all. Sean Calvert makes a good point. Get Bayless Jones the ball in space more. And
I was impressed with Bayless Jones. Yeah,
I think they did that well. The way they used him on that little bump sweep, whatever you call it. Yeah, I like that a lot. That dude, man, came out of didn't really come out of nowhere, but I think all the wide receivers, you could even say them. That's
Except
a position
Keaton.
group.
Keaton struggled.
Keaton struggled.
Look at what you lost. And would you really say there was a drop off? Yeah, Keaton had a rough day, but look at Johnson and Jones emerged and Palmer looked good. I think this wide receiver group, boys, we're a consistent quarterback away from this being a dangerous offense. You add Cade Mays back into the mix. I thought the offensive line played well. I thought they did a good job in pass protection. They struggled a little run blocking early, but they came out in that third quarter and really blew South Carolina off the ball, ran it right down their throats. And I think that's something that we should see against this Missouri team. And we'll kind of transition here. Alabama pushed them all over the field on both sides, the offensive and defensive line. Is that because it's Alabama, or is that because Missouri is weak on the offensive and defensive line, JP?
Well, and that's the hard part about trying to decipher that, because look who they was playing. I mean, they was playing Alabama, which probably one of, if not the best offensive lines, and probably one of, if not the best defensive line in conference. So, going back and watching most of that first half, I mean, it was a no contest. I mean, Missouri didn't put up much of a fight. It was 28-3, I think, at halftime. But basically, they done a lot of their damage. I mean, I know what's his face, I think, ended up with three touchdowns, but they absolutely killed them out in space, just throwing just little short passes to the wide receivers out in the flats and just letting them take off. So, of course, I mean, that's what Alabama's been doing for the last, it seems like 10 years. With these speedy wide receivers and stuff. So I do think, though, that Tennessee has the capability. Now, do we have anybody on the team that's as good as that Waddle kid? Probably not. But I do think that Tennessee has some kids that they can put in space like that can take advantage of that. And hopefully, that we can get the running game going. I know that Harris, I think, he had like 98 yards, and there's a lot of people saying, he only had the 98 yards and everything, but you could tell that Alabama was really trying to get Mac Jones in a groove there, and I think try to probably build his confidence up some as well, and try to see what they had in the passing game, since they did lose a couple of wide receivers to the first round of the draft, obviously. So that's my take on it. I mean, I think Tennessee should be able to control the line of scrimmage, but I still think, and we'll get into it later, I'm not sure that this team will blow Missouri out, though.
I think going to your question, Boogie, it's probably a little bit of both. I think Alabama is probably that good. Like JP said, great defensive and offensive lines. And I think Missouri is probably not at that level. So, yeah, I think before Missouri even got going, I think they were down 35-6. Is what I have written down. And then I think I don't know if it was Pruitt talked about, Missouri played well in the second half, and they scored 13 points to Alabama's 3. But it was mop up duty with guys getting game experience. So here's the thing, and this is something that I've been telling the girls on our softball team a lot. You have to control your controllables, and it doesn't matter who lines up across from Tennessee. If Tennessee is worried about that, and instead of doing the things that they need to do, then that's what's going to bite them. But I think, like I said in our season preview, or I guess the show last week before Missouri, I think this team, they're fired up. They're still rolling off the momentum of last year. They're hungry. They know what's ahead of them, and they know the grind that this 10-game conference schedule is going to bring. And I think these kids are excited to be out there playing when it didn't look like it was possible a couple of months ago.
We have 62 people watching live. Guys, we are glad you're here. Giving you the spiel as I always do. Hit that thumbs up. Helps the analytics of YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. We're live, as you can see, scrolling across the bottom of the screen every Wednesday, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, Saturdays, immediately following the game. Sometimes we do a special tailgate show on Saturdays before the game. We just hang out laid back this past Saturday. A lot of fun. Had a lot of you guys on the show. I think who'd we have? We had Cody on the show. We had
Tim,
Wayne on the show. Tim
and Troy Lee.
Troy Lee. Yeah, man, that was a lot of fun. I think that's something we may start doing at the end of all the tailgate shows. But we're not going to do one this week again. 12 o'clock noon kickoff. So we'll just go live after the game. We'll definitely do a tailgate show for the Georgia game. So hit that bell for notification.
I posted all of you guys that were on there. I posted all of your pictures, screenshots on the Facebook page this week. So if you haven't noticed it, go out there and look. It wouldn't let me tag some of you. I don't know why, but anyway. But with that, we got pictures of you four that was guest on there Saturday. So yeah, it was fun. Appreciate it for sure. Cody's asking about Trevon Flowers. Was Flowers not number 1 in the secondary? I know that he changed his number because he was 25 last year.
Yes, and they showed him changing that for that special teams play. That's why he was changing because he switched to number 1.
Yeah, because it was a double number.
Right.
Yeah, because
he was out there.
Jones were. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. He was the other safety. I think he about played the entire game as far as I know. I don't know any other safeties that were out there.
Yeah, I'm looking at the grades,
Thompson.
Which I think it's interesting to look at that VolQuest. I don't know do you know what the company is that posts the grading where they break down the film and they
PFF
grade
or whatever.
Yeah, they give them a grade.
Football Focus or whatever.
It's everything from blocking to route running to it's everything. So it's really neat to look at, and I'm looking at that, and Flowers graded out as a 62.3, which Thompson was a 62.6, but again, he's playing safety, which isn't his. That was his first time ever playing safety, wasn't it? In college, I'm pretty sure it was.
I don't know if he played any last year or not, or the year before. I don't recall it because last year he missed the first 3 or 4 games because of his issues.
Yeah, I think it was 4.
Yeah. So
let's keep moving forward. Let's talk about this Missouri game. JP, you said you don't think they're gonna. What do you consider a blowout? They're favored by what? 13, 14 points? Is that what it is?
If I was going to bet, I'd probably take Missouri. As far as the points go, yeah. I think this team. I mean, even though this team's on a 7-game winning streak, I mean, we haven't really blowed anybody out during those 7 games. I mean, this team I'm thankful that they're winning. Don't get me wrong, but they need to put a complete game together. Are they capable of it? Yes, absolutely that they are. But you know, I just think that again, Garantano is going to have to prove it, that he's going to be able to, you know, consistently hit these receivers. I'm hopeful that the defense shows up better than they did Saturday, and they can, you know, stop some of these passes over the middle, because that's certainly something that's going to have to happen for sure. So with that, but you know, typically since Missouri joined this conference, it has been a pretty close games. I mean, I know there was a couple of games there that Missouri blew us out, and then I know that there's a couple of games there that Tennessee won pretty convincingly. But typically, you know, this is another one of those one possession type games, similar to the South Carolina series.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing when they talk about how close that South Carolina game always is. And then I just look back to the 90s and I'm like, oh my God, it's sad. It's embarrassing. But you're right. You're right. I mean, Missouri has a winning record against this Tennessee football team. And something that concerns me is, you know, we talk going into the season, defensive line, it's a concern. Are they going to be able to get pressure? You know, who's going to be that guy that steps up in that position? And we see DeAndre Johnson come out, SEC Defensive Lineman of the Week. How about that? What do you have, 2.5 sacks, something like that? But that game played into his hands. You know, South Carolina, and we talked about the knee surgeries that kid had. And he's going to sit back there in the pocket and try to make throws. So these defensive linemen in certain situations are pinning their ears back and they're coming. What scares me about Missouri is that zone read type stuff. I don't think that this defensive line is going to really be able to pin their ears back and come after the Missouri quarterback. So how's that going to impact this defensive line that looked pretty dang good against South Carolina, in my opinion?
I think that Pruitt is in whatever is Lord. What's the defensive coordinator's name? I can't even think. Ansley. Yeah. Golly, can't even think of Derek Ansley. I think that we might see some blitzes coming from multiple places. I think that they're going to probably try to keep Missouri kind of off guard, not knowing where the blitzes might be coming from. I think Missouri has 3 offensive linemen that are new to the program, and obviously, you know, they got a first-year head coach, a whole new system, all that. You take into that consideration with the off season and the way that they didn't have spring practice and the way that all this COVID stuff is going and everything. I think that Tennessee has an opportunity there. I think any team that Tennessee plays this year that they're having to break in a new coach or a new coordinators and stuff like that, I think immediately you think that the team that has the continuity should have the upper hand. Now, I was impressed with Bobo on Saturday. I think that he's going to make South Carolina's offense a lot better than they were last year. I think bringing that quarterback in that's comfortable with that system, I think that that's going to be a lot better offense than they showed last year for sure.
Let me hit this $5 super chat real quick. James Barger was stressed out. He couldn't figure out how to do it, but he wanted to throw some money at us. We appreciate the support. I think somebody pointed out, if you're on a tablet or certain devices, the super chat function doesn't show up. But for everybody else, if you're in the chat, it's at the bottom, all the way on the right. Just hit that $sign and it walks you through it. But James Barger, thank you for the super chat. We do appreciate it. He says, I love the show. Looking forward to my hoodie arriving soon. 2XL, the gray material from shirt last year, is high quality. It is high quality, man. I love.
They are nice.
I love Bonfire's t-shirts, man.
Yeah, they are
so
nice.
Good. So good. But yeah, seriously, James, thanks for the support. We appreciate you guys throwing a few bucks our way. What about you, Dauber? What do you think about this Missouri game? Has anything got you nervous, or do you think Tennessee rolls and we're celebrating on Saturday?
I think Tennessee rolls. I'm not buying into JP. JP was scared of Missouri last year, wasn't he?
No, remember the UAB game when he was so terrified? He
For
was
some
so
reason, this gets brought up every week.
because it was so great because you were so terrified of them that I made a video to put out that said 3 reasons why Tennessee will not lose to UAB. You were so terrified of them.
But we struggled in that game. I think we pulled away and won like 30-0, but I mean, it was like
30-0. We struggled in that game. We beat them 62-0, but we struggled.
Now,
That's JP's mindset. If they don't score every time they touch the ball, we got to fix it.
This is Wednesday, JP. It's not Saturday, JP.
Saturday, win by 82.
I love it, man. No, I think, like I said, I think this team, they're gelling. I know we've got some issues and some struggles and inconsistencies at quarterback, or you got a couple guys out right now that you'd rather have them in than who's playing. But I think this team is going to roll. It's time to kind of flip the Missouri showdown around and get it back going in our favor. I think we're 5 or 3-5 against them or something since they've joined.
Yeah, it's not good. Yeah,
I mean we're definitely they're up on the head-to-head matchup right now. But man, you were talking about some of these teams breaking in coaches or coordinators or even quarterbacks. I think who was it up in the chat earlier? I think it might have been Courtney Holland talking about the NFL, the Titans. They've got 3 or 4 players out and some coaches due to COVID. And team they played Sunday, Minnesota. Both of those teams, they've shut down everything, and I think they're doing more testing and all this. Listen, I mean, we are 1 week in for us, a couple weeks into the college football season. Notre Dame, they've had to postpone a game due to an outbreak on the team. I don't know. I mean, you could see something like that go down with any of these teams. Bama could get a streak and have a couple guys out. We just don't know. This year is so funny with how we led up to the season, how we thought we weren't going to play, we were going to play, all these things, and now you've got there's just a lot of uncertainty. But I mean, they're going to line it up and go until they can't, I guess. We've talked a lot about the NCAA and the almighty dollar and all that. So I'm ready for it though. And like I said, I think we go into Neyland and we protect the home field, and even though it won't be packed, even though 25% capacity, even
it's going to be interesting.
So did they pop in sound noise or what? South Carolina sounded really freaking loud.
I don't know if they're doing it in college. I know the NFL is. I know that they're popping it in.
Did you not think South, like some of these games, and maybe because I've been watching teams like Marshall and Appy State, but some of these games I watch, man, they sound really quiet. But that South Carolina Tennessee game sounded like a regular Saturday.
Well, that's what that announcer said there late in the fourth quarter. I heard him say, it doesn't sound like Williams-Brice is 25% capacity. So I think that they do have a tendency to play a lot of music over the loudspeakers and stuff there at USC anyway. So it'll be interesting to see if Tennessee does that.
I know you could hear that darn rooster on third down.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know it. So,
Dobber, I put a message to you in our private chat. Look at that, and then respond to me real quick. Anything else we want to talk about before we get into predictions? You got anything else, JP? You could throw some recruiting. I know you don't have an official recruiting roundup ready, but throw some recruiting news.
I saw somebody mention there in the chat. I don't know who it was there a couple of minutes ago. I was talking about Mims. It looks like he's coming in for a visit this weekend. I think he is supposed to announce on his birthday sometime in the middle of October. Of course, he's the big offensive lineman from Georgia that most people felt like that it was down to Georgia and Alabama. Seems like Alabama has faded with him, and certainly sounds like that it's going to come down to either Tennessee and Georgia. Most people are obviously thinking he's going to stay home, but I don't know. There seems to be some very, very quiet confidence that he may end up picking Tennessee. I still say, because Negavall, that he'll end up picking Georgia, but I won't be shocked if the big fella puts on the right color of hat and shows off that mighty orange. So looking for him, and he might be JJ Banks. I'm not sure. Somebody in the chat earlier said that he was coming in this week. I don't know, to be honest with you, with that. That's the crazy thing about recruiting right now is the NCAA is not allowing any official visits this year. So, or this fall. So these kids can't take any official visits. So if they go to a game on a Saturday or whatever, it's not going to be an official. So they're going to have to pay for it themselves and so forth like that. So it's going to be interesting with that. And I think that we'll probably look back on that and say that it was very good for Tennessee to get as many kids in the boat already, because obviously they can be in the boat, but until they're signed, they're not really in the boat. So with that, but
let me throw this in here. One thing that I think is also going to really affect recruiting is the lack of, the non-existent camps that these kids go to. Mm-hmm. That is one of the main things that these college coaches use to evaluate the kids. To get them to come in and run through their camp, or the Elite 11s for the quarterbacks and all that. So the lack of that, listen, you've still got some high schools, some states. They're talking to another guy at work today, and he was talking about Virginia high schools. I think are going to play in the winter. I hadn't heard that, but he was saying they're going to play like January, February, something like that. So it's something that I think is going to not just this recruiting year, but the whole cycle is going to be affected by this for a couple of years.
Let me hit this super chat, and then we will jump into some predictions for the Missouri game. Mohammed Fayed for $5. Thanks for the support. He's also a longtime listener. Says JG and Keaton better be on the same page Saturday. Otherwise, I'm coming to Rocky Top, and I'm going to be in their grill like Trump on Biden, baby. And he throws in a Ric Flair. Woo! I'm not going to make any political statements on this podcast. You could probably figure it out, but what a train wreck that debate was last night. I stayed up just to listen to it because you would have thought it was on Comedy Central instead of CNN.
It was darn Jerry. I thought it was an episode of Jerry Springer.
Goodness gracious. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. I see a lot of people putting in, I don't know where this came from. I know Wayne Shelton is a veteran, IC86. I just want to say thank you guys for your service. We support all of our military, our law enforcement, rescue, fire. Look, we appreciate your support. All of you. Yep. All of you. All right, let's get into some predictions. But before we do, you guys get to play along. That's part of the fun. Every time we do a Wednesday show, once it wraps up and processes, we want you guys to come back and make your predictions. You can still do them in the chat. That's fun. But you're entered to win a sticker from Dauber. That's him, man. He got the stickers printed up. He sends them out. So he's got 3 winners from the predictions for UT South Carolina. Oh, 4 winners. 4 winners.
We had a tie.
I didn't know if you were Ric Flair or you had 4 winners. Let's go. Who do you got?
All right. Old basketball 77.
Woo! Look at there. Atta boy.
I watched the game with old basketball 77. He was all giddy. He was like, I think I'm going to win a sticker. I think I'm going to win a sticker.
Yeah, he and Isaac Bishop, they both had 31-24.
Yep.
So that
Congratulations.
that was pretty dang close. Then had a couple that went over just a little bit. Chris Mansfield had 35-24, and Chase Simmons had 34-23. So I will send a message via the chat or the video that you all posted your prediction in, and get your address and get you a sticker sent out to you.
Can you send him a message through YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Cool. If somehow you miss it and you're listening to this, you can also DM us on Facebook, DM us on Twitter, or look for Dauber's message. Either way, we'll figure it out and we'll get your stickers sent out. But it's time to pick the Missouri game. I don't even remember what my prediction. Who won last week? Do you have ours?
I do.
He must have won. That's why he cut me off.
Yeah.
Of course.
JP said 20-16.
It's close. A 4-point victory.
Boogie said 24-13, and I had 28-13.
So as far as point spread goes, 4 points, I win.
That's not how we're doing it.
Because that's what Tennessee was favored by 4.
Here you go.
That's what the final point spread or the.
We're all winners because the Big Orange won.
That's right.
Can I be the moderator and choose a side and let one of you talk while the other one doesn't get to? Can I do that?
You got the control panel.
I know that's what I was going to just be the moderator. I don't even remember that idiot's name, but
you can do stuff like squish JP down and kick him off.
Or I can do this and put him up there so that the chats cover your face now.
Yeah, that's fine.
Tim Bradley is back in the Tri-Cities. Welcome back. We're glad you're here.
Yep. Welcome back, Tim.
We have 63 watching. If you haven't done so yet, do hit that thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed. It's been a fun show. Let's get into some Missouri predictions. There you go. Boogie Wallace. That's it, Tanner. Boogie Wallace. Who went first last week?
I did. So I'm not going first.
All right, Dauber, you're first.
No. Boogie never goes first.
No.
I said I think this team's going to roll. I think we've got the sloppiness and the first game jitters out. I really think you're going to see JG come out and play well. I think you're going to see Chandler run well. And I think Gray's going to pop off and have a good game. So I'm going with the Big Orange 35-17.
I almost want to share my screen and show you my notes because I'm pretty close to that too. But I'm with Dauber, man. I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm really not that nervous going into Saturday. And I think Tennessee didn't play good across the board. We saw some good things against South Carolina, but the accuracy issues really, really, really set this team back. But for some reason, I'm going into this game thinking that Garantano is going to play well. I think it's going to make a huge difference moving Bryce Thompson back to corner. I think it's going to be huge, absolutely huge. Cade Mays is eligible. That's only going to help. I think this team is going to run the football well. I think this team rolls Missouri. I'm going Vols 34, Missouri 13.
34-13. I mean, I think Tennessee wins. I definitely do. I think it'd be a huge letdown if they didn't. I think just like Saturday night, Tennessee is the better football team. They got more quality. I read something that as far as the Missouri, they've got, I think, four stars. It might be 6 on the entire roster. So obviously Missouri, they never have recruited lights out or anything, but they've done a good job at developing talent. and keeping guys in the program and stuff like that. But I think with a new coach, with a new systems, all of that, I think that's when that we'll see the difference in the actual talent stand out. I still need this Tennessee football team to play a complete game. And, even like I said earlier, even in this 7-game win streak, I'm not sure that this team has really played a complete game. They always tend to, for whatever reason, practically give this fan base heart attack at the end. I don't think it'll come down to us trying to have to punt at the end and bounce it off one of the Missouri players' leg to get the ball to end the game. But I'm going to go 31-20 Big Orange.
That's close. You're close to the spread. You're pretty close to the spread.
Yeah. I mean, I hit right on it last week for 4 points. So I think the spread's what, 11, 12, 13, something like that.
I thought 13. I think it came out at 14. Then they dropped it a little.
Dropped it a little bit. Yeah.
Hey, they didn't build Vegas on bad spreads. Tell you what.
No.
Vegas knows a little bit something going on.
It's amazing, is it not?
It's crazy.
I mean, it is crazy watching some of those games and paying attention to that. And you're like, how in the world did they even come up with that?
Yeah, and then even the spread, the line, the over under, all that stuff they do, and then they just put money in their pockets. They have to have so many connections and insiders, and they know every little detail of injuries and everything that's going on.
I know, but I mean, still, at the end of the day, how can they be that accurate with a darn point spread?
I don't know. It's
crazy, isn't it?
It is.
Supercomputers.
That's what it is. AI is about to take over the whole world. I think we've got about 4 or 5 more years before we're all dead anyway. So, but
wow, thanks for that.
That's another show. That's a way
to end the show.
That's a Joe Rogan special. We can get into that next week, maybe. That's what.
Are we doing contests for next week? Same thing.
Yeah, what you guys need to do is come back. We're going to wrap this thing up. We're going to end the broadcast. Give it a few minutes. Once the video is done processing, you can leave comments. Make sure you come back to that comment section. Leave your score prediction. Let's just do score again this week. Leave your score prediction, and we'll give out a few stickers next week. Again, we will be live immediately after the game on Saturday. Do us a favor. Just I know you guys have tons of Tennessee fans. This show continues to grow every single year. We started this thing out, 5 or 6 years ago, and it's crazy to see how much it grows, how many people have been here since the beginning. It's been a heck of a ride, and we ain't going anywhere. We're going to keep this thing rolling, but you guys build this show. Word of mouth helps more than anything. Also, if you want to interact with us, we have a Facebook page you can like, but we also have a Facebook group. And that's where you can interact with us. Some of us were posting during the game. I would like to see more of that. I would like to see you guys more active in that group. If you have questions for us, post them in the group. You have anything, let's get active in that group. It's a whole lot of fun. But that's gonna wrap this episode.
We got the old Twitter machine and
an Instagram page.
You put us on Instagram, man.
But if you want immediate access, that Facebook group is where it's at. That's immediate access to the three of us. We want to interact with you guys in there. But that's going to wrap up this episode. We appreciate all the support, whether you bought a t-shirt or a hoodie, or whether you've done a super chat, or you're a member of the channel, or if you're just here hitting that thumbs up. We appreciate it more than you'll ever know. But for Vols JP, for UT Dauber, my name is Boogie Rogan. And I just got one thing left to say, and that is go Big Orange.
Bells